that, and an evil woman she was, she lived on 666 Main Road, Eltham, in Melbourne. It's almost laughable. The home that she inherited was just a tiny 2-bedroom flat, and I completely rebuilt it. And the distance to the South Pole is 5813 kilometres, and that is the height of the finished pyramid. Now I noticed you mentioned the pyramid numbers before, and I'll just briefly touch on that. If you take the base 36524.24 pyramid inches, which is almost identical to the British inch today, and was the British inch in the time of Elizabeth I, and they went and changed it, and we have a reason why. Because the Great Pyramid, by that time, even Isaac Newton had worked on it, come to conclude that it was the Pyramid of Christ. So King James himself, he was inclined to believe that same thing. He has written on it. Now, you have a displacement factor of the Great Pyramid. What that means is you lay the footings out and you say, oh, to help with this, we'll make it a little bit smaller. So they reduced it by 286.1. The number 2861 in Hebrew is espousals, male. It's found in Solomon, the book of Solomon, 311. And then you have the distance reducing the 36524.24 pyramid base by the 286.1. And that number, which you mentioned before, you said subtract. You said divide, no, it's subtract. What that gives you is the same word, espousal, but the female espousal. And that's in Jeremiah 2:2. You add the 311 and the 22 together and you get 333. So we have a code starting to form here. Now, as you said correctly, Solomon married the two tribes descended from Lot through the incest relationship with these two daughters. The Moabites and the Ammonites come out of those two daughters. And of course they are the abomination that worshipped Moloch. So he married all these women. With 700 wives he married and 300 concubines. And he received 666 talents of gold per year from each of these. There's your 666. Today, if you scan your packet of cigarettes, which is also laced with poisons to kill you, it's got a barcode. The central point, sometimes it's sticking down a little lower, and then the two end, that's either end of the barcode. These are sixes. I have seen it where they do number them as the 6, but it became blatantly obvious that it is a 666 barcode that you can't buy and sell without. So I come along, say, oh, look, it's easy. All you got to do is find the key of the house of David, which is Isaiah 22:22. I weigh 222 bloody pounds. I'm 74 inches tall, and that's the gematria for Jesus in English. It's also Joshua, which is the Hebrew name for Jesus in Hebrew. And that also has an English gematria of 74. Where I'm speaking to you right now, the distance to where I was born, and that's the one that's 8,888.8 miles, this is in Sydney, where I'm sitting on the east coast up in Queensland at the moment, the number is 973 kilometres. That's how many times the word Jesus is found in 942 verses. The 942 number is the same as the amount of days that I was in that house after being born, taken from my birthday to when we moved, 942 days. So this is the kind of thing I go on about. It is so blatantly obvious. We get into Mary Magdalene. She has a daughter. She's born on the 20th of December in 1979. She is 777 days younger than my youngest daughter, which is 2.127 years. So you look up in Hebrew, 2127, it's Zia, found in 1 Chronicles 5:13. Then you look at her, this is the stepdaughter, difference in age between her and my eldest daughter, which is 11.626 years. That's the width of the antechamber, 116.26 pyramid inches. I married her mother when I was 1162.6 weeks old, which is 22.28 years. That's the height of the highest mountain in Australia in metres. The mother, Mary Magdalene, who is today Michelle Nye, She is 1162.6 days younger than I. So what we've done is opened up the passage into the King's Chamber. We then measure into the King's Chamber to the far wall, and it gives you a number, not just be approximate, 537, and then you've got the displacement factor, 286.1, which you mentioned before. You add those two together. Then you go to the ceiling, you add that on, it's roughly 230 inches, and that gives you a number. You multiply by a lunation, and lunation is 29.53052 days. That gives you 31101, and that is the Julian day I was born on. It's also how many verses there are in the Bible. It goes on and on and on. You then go into 1 Chronicles 5:13, where the number 2127 is, and right beside it is 3275. That is the name Jachan in Hebrew. That is the age Michelle was, Mary Magdalene, when she gave birth to her daughter. So we have these two numbers, 700,000 words, only found once in the entire Bible. Both are solitary numbers, and they're side by side. In the same verse is the names Michal, my name, Michael, etc., which is her name. And we add all of the 7 names up. 7 names total, 31101, the same number as the King's Chamber times a lunation, and all those numbers I gave you before, reveal the Julian day I was born on and how many verses there are in the Bible. It goes on and on and on. So you say, okay, fine. We divide the 31101 because there's 7 names to see what the average is, and it's 4443. That's how many times the word God is found in 3877 verses. And the hospital I was born in is 3877 nautical miles to the South Pole. Hello? Is anyone listening? I've been talking about this for years and years. All I've got is abuse. Absolutely. There is more people on my case in Australia, ASIO agents who are assigned to me. This ASIO is like the CIA of, well, this is the CIA really, of Australia. And they come and see me. We believe. So they're off the job, and then they put another 2 disbelievers on. I've had so many people that would jump ship when they find out what I'm talking about. Just what I've said today is enough to convince anybody who is intelligent. So this is what it's all about. You still there? This is embarrassing. It's gone.
I heard some messages.
Yeah, I kept hearing the Skype message all day.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That's what I was saying. It is.